important to always look for biased questions in surveys, especially when the people giving the survey stand to benefit from a certain response. Even when researchers have created a non-biased survey, they still need to get it into the right hands. Ideally, a survey should go to a random sample of the population that they're interested in. Usually, this means using a random number generator to pick who gets the survey. We do simple random sampling, so there's no pattern or system for selecting respondents, and each respondent has an equal chance of being selected. For example, telephone surveys often use random digit dialing, which selects 7 random digits and dials them. When someone picks up, they're asked to take a survey. But here's where we hit our first issue. If people aren't forced to respond to the survey, we might experience something called non-response bias, in which the people who are most likely to complete a survey are systematically different from those who don't. For example, people with non-traditional working schedules like retirees, stay-at-home parents, or people who work from home might be more likely to answer a middle-of-the-day phone survey. This is a big problem if those groups are different than the population as a whole. If your survey was on health insurance plans or political opinions, it's likely these 3 groups would have different opinions than the population, but they represent the majority of survey responses, which means your data won't represent the total population all that well. This is also related to voluntary response bias, in which people who choose to respond to voluntary surveys they see on Facebook or Twitter are people who, again, are different than the broad population. This is especially true with things like customer service surveys. People who respond tend to have either very positive or very negative opinions. See the comment section below. The majority of customers with an average experience tend not to respond because service wasn't noteworthy. Wait, does that mean I'm not noteworthy? Another source of bias is just plain underrepresentation. If a group of interest is a minority in the population, random sampling paired with response biases might mean that minority isn't represented at all in the sample. Let's say there's a city where 5% of the population is single mothers. It's entirely possible that the sample will contain no single moms. To overcome these issues, we have a couple options. We could weight people's responses so they match the population, like counting the few single mothers who do respond multiple times so they end up counting for 5% of the total sample. But this can be problematic for the same reason that response bias is problematic. If the few single mothers who respond don't represent all single mothers, our data is still biased.